Unlock your true potential with the Leaders S.H.I.F.T community, where we empower men to embrace self-awareness and authenticity. Introducing the Leaders S.H.I.F.T community, where we believe in helping men become the best version of themselves. It all starts with self-awareness, and we encourage men to take a step back, pause, and reflect on their thoughts, emotions, and behavior. Embrace their authenticity and break free from societal expectations. Here are just a few testimonies from individuals. Leadership helped me develop self-awareness and embrace my authentic self. And now I feel more confident and fulfilled. Question: are you ready to unlock your potential? If so, join the Leaders S.H.I.F.T community today. All right, guys, welcome on into the Leaders S.H.I.F.T podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Roberts. Our goal here on the Leaders S.H.I.F.T podcast is to influence, inspire, and ignite men to make the shift in their personal leadership by becoming the best version of themselves. It's here, guys. We will share tools and tips to unlocking true potential. Today's podcast, man, I have a phenomenal guest coming to rock with us today. A little history on Syeed real quick, man. This dude is absolutely hands down phenomenal. He's a husband, a daddy, a teen ministry leader at his local church, and educator for over 21 years. He has a degree in communication and a minor in sociology. He is an extreme execution coach and facilitator, and the entrepreneur and owner of F.L.O.W. That's right, consulting and coaching firm for the love of wisdom. Ladies and guys, men, fellas, gentlemen, give me a warm welcome for my man, Syeed King. Welcome, Syeed.
Thank you. Thank you.
How you doing, brother?
I'm great. I'm great.
Man,
it's an honor. It's an honor.
Yeah. So, Syeed, tell the people a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, as you read in the bio, you know, I'm a husband, and I specifically said I'm a daddy. Traditionally, when I read people's bios and they say a father, I specifically on purpose said I'm a daddy, because if you look at my shirt, it says daddyhood, and it's a difference between a daddy and a father. And so, yes, I'm a husband, I'm a daddy, and I am an advocate for youth. In my profession, I'm just by trade, I'm a teacher, and like I've been doing it for over 20 years, and that's just a passion of mine to work with youth and help youth thrive and prosper in their lives. They're the key to our future. And just a little over the pandemic, during the pandemic months, I was telling my wife, I said, you know, I want to do something. I got this idea that I want to just empower people and get people to think and ponder on positive things. And she said, well, why don't you just do it? You've been talking about it. Why don't you just do it? And so I did it, and I started making T-shirts. I went and did my research and went on YouTube University and learned how to start my own T-shirt brand. And I was putting it out there, and people was biting on it. Like, people really was digging the messages. And then it was like, you know, it has to be more. Like, just the T-shirt, that's good, but it has to be more. I need to add some substance behind it. And I joined Extreme Execution, and that was the birth of my coaching business, to do coaching, consulting, and training and speaking engagements. And so that's where I'm at today. F.L.O.W, for Love of Wisdom, has been born, and out of F.L.O.W Wisdom come my coaching business and just different initiatives that I have taken on. And the biggest one is daddyhood. It's called the Daddyhood Movement. So aside of me working with individuals and companies on team building and leadership, I highlight leadership because it's a big one. It's a big thing I've been dealing with leadership. And I have been doing the daddyhood movement. And so, yeah, that's something I'm giddy about. I'm really passionate about. And it gives me an opportunity to give back.
Oh, that's phenomenal, man. I heard so much there, man. The support of a loved one to push you out of your comfort zone or encourage you out of your comfort zone to take that initiative. You started the first thing you started was the t-shirt line, right? Or business, right? And phenomenal shirts, guys. We're gonna drop the website, Syeed's website, so you can check it out. The Daddyhood movement. I think that's powerful too. Moving into that place of daddyhood. Tell me, before I hit that, I want to tread lightly a little bit about the extreme execution and moving into coaching and how you empower others in coaching. You know, so tell me what how did you get connected in extreme execution, and tell me a little bit more about your coaching, and then we're going to tap into the daddyhood movement.
Eric Thomas was sharing. It was the guru story. And I started to incorporate it into my classroom. So one of the things in the teaching profession, you're supposed to start have a routine where you open up your class, whether it's pre-class work, just a way to connect with your students instead of just stuffing work down their mouths when they come in. And so that was my routine. That was my opening routine. We always start with some motivation. And I started playing Eric Thomas. And the more I played it, again, the more I connected, I identified with him and his message. It aligned with my lifestyle and the things that I strive to accomplish and do. So in line with my endeavors. And so as I'm listening to that, and then he had different showings, different conferences and things like that, I started to participate and attend them. He came here to Philly. I attended it over the pandemic when he had different ones online. I was in attendance. And so when he talked about the extreme execution program, it was like, I have to get in.
Yeah.
I got to find a way to get in that thing. I went to my pastor and I said, look, this is this program that I think that really can take our church to the next level. And I said, it's a coaching program. However, it strives on self-awareness and helping individuals understand who they are and maximizing their potential. And he was like, okay, all right, let me check it out. And he looked at it and he was like, let's do it. Let's do it. He said, matter of fact, he said, I want you to lead the charge. If you can get 2 other people, he said, matter of fact, I will appoint 2 other people and I will sponsor you in this class. And so I've been working with my church and in leadership and working with the various different ministries, helping them connect and understand one another so they can be in sync with any tasks that they're trying to, any of the objectives for the ministry, they're able to be in sync and accomplish what they're trying to do.
Oh, that's good.
That's how I got into extreme execution. And that kind of you can see how now that helped feed and birth F.L.O.W wisdom, the coaching side. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, no, that was good. That was real good. I think you and me both had that same awakening with Eric. For you guys who may not know, extreme execution is a Eric Thomas and Associates coaching program that both Syeed and I are affiliates of, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We train under or with Moose and a phenomenal team. Brandon, and somebody introduced me to E as well. And I was like, wow, I have to get in this. So when you said that, I was like, yeah, that's just how I felt. I literally went to my wife and was like, hey, babe, we're going to have to make this investment. I like that, because what I hear from you is that you was in this place where you just knew that something had to change, right? And you had the support of a loved one who supported you. Not only that, but you had a community leader who supported your vision and your dream, and help you move. And just that development in itself, from what you told me, it birthed for the love of wisdom, man. Tell me, how are you making impact and with the love of wisdom? I know it says that you said that you're looking for difference makers. Talk to me more about that.
Yeah. So I believe everyone is a leader. I believe everyone has the potential to have impact in their lane. That's the key, in their lane. And so For Love of Wisdom has allowed me to get in front of some charter schools, work with some people who are working in corporate and helping them see how vital their role is. Because I think sometimes we can lose sight because we're in the midst. We're in the mix doing what we normally do. We have our routine, and sometimes we can get tired. Sometimes we get overwhelmed. Sometimes we just going through the process, and we miss and we don't really we lose sight of how important our role is and what we do.
Mhm.
And so that opens up the opportunity for me to come in and work with these individuals and these groups and help them see, like, what you're doing, do not take it lightly, because someone is watching you, someone is dependent on you. And because someone is watching, someone is dependent on you, you have to make sure that the assignment that you're on, the task that you have to do it to its full potential. Like, don't leave any meat on the bone. Carry it out, execute it.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. So, what motivates you to continue, though, to keep this course now, as far as your personal development and what you're doing with your company Flow?
One, I got a motto: I got to practice what I preach.
Hmm.
And like, I have a flame in me, a fire that just won't go out. And that's divine. That's nothing but coming from the main source, the Spirit of God. That's just a flame that I
Amen.
just can't. I mean, I go to bed sometimes and I'm like, I got ideas just firing off on how I can make a difference in my space and my lane, right? So that is like my motivation, is to keep that flame burning and also help ignite other people's flame.
Mm.
Some people's flame is going dim and they're crying out for help. And so I want to use my light to kind of ignite theirs, get their flame going, because at the end of the day, if people light go out, what's going to be the ramifications? Who's going to be harmed? Our youth, our future, our communities,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So in our youth, they're looking for someone to ignite their fire. They're looking, or let me just say, or some of them are waiting for someone to ignite their fire. And so they're going to places where they don't belong, and they get in the wrong fire,
Yeah. I got you on that.
wrong fire. And that fire that they're getting, it goes out pretty quick. And so they look to go back and get it lit again. While people like you and I, we have the right fire to give them, but we're not telling them we have it, that we have,
Yeah.
and we're not sharing it. at
Yes.
least not to our fullest potential.
In 2014, I simply recall sitting on my back porch trying to figure life out. I felt stuck. I lacked direction. And I was asking myself the old age question: what's my purpose? What was I meant to do? And if there was purpose for me, could I really fulfill it? Maybe you're asking yourself those very questions today, and you're looking for answers, and you're looking for more fulfillment. I want to encourage you to get hold of what God has to say about you to you through His Word. Ephesians 2:10 says this: "For we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk." I want to encourage you to spend time with God, talk with God, pray, get clarity and understanding about what God has to say about you. Philippians 1:6 says this: "He who began a good work in you will carry it to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." I want to invite you to step into your purpose men's Bible study, taking place each and every Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. All you have to do is click the link now and register, and I'll see you at the Step Into Your Purpose men's Bible study. God bless. Who's saying, you know what, I want to ignite. How do I ignite my flame? How do I operate from a place, find my space in my lane to operate from a place of purpose, man? And the truth is, man, you have to get clear on who you desire to be, how you desire to show up in the world, man, because it's important to make your mind up to say, you know what, I do want to be the best version of something, man. And I think men need to hear that. You know, I think so many guys are like you just said, and I know you're an educator and you work with teens, but to your place and point, if we as the men don't get this place, get in our space, get down our lane, start operating, at least from my perspective, a place of purpose and potential, tapping into potential, man, we leave a whole generation of people behind. And we got some youth that's coming behind us saying, you know what, I'm hungry too. I need my flame lit too. I'm hot. I'm excited about some things. And if I don't get on the right track, I can very well wind up down the street somewhere where I don't want to belong, like behind bars, in the grave. I think one of my Miles Monroe have one of my favorite sayings, and that is that the wealthiest places in the world are the graveyards, because so many people die with potential and purpose, and untapped potential and purpose. So yes, my friend, I'm going to let you finish that statement. I'm going to address that question to you one more time. I think people need to hear that, and that is, how can men who desire to ignite their fire operate from a place of purpose, get down, identify that space and lane that they need to operate from it in life? How what's your recommendation to them to really identify on what they've been called to do?
So yeah, I was saying, like praying, right? Praying, doing some soul searching, get some revelation on what direction they have to go in, right? That finding their lane. And then, get out there and do the work, right? Even if you think that, even if you're not sure, right? They say, faith without works is dead, right? So it's a step of faith. You just got to go out and try it. And so as you go out and try it, if it's not you, if it's not where you belong, then all right, go try something else. So that's like, I thought I wanted to be a carpenter. And part of that is because some older people spoke it into my life. Hey, you should, because I was getting in trouble in the streets and things like that. And they was like, you should go be a carpenter, make money and you can build your own house and things like that. And so I went to school for carpentry. And guess what? I didn't like it. Well, I appreciate the skill. I appreciate what I learned, but I realized that's not where I want to be. Mm. So I was like, nah, I'm good. I'll go to college and I'll go it was communication. I want to be a broadcaster, be on TV, be on radio. I enjoyed it. It was cool, but I didn't love it. And I had to reassess myself. And I say, all right, well, where do you really get the most satisfaction? And they center it around young people. It's centered around the young people. So I went to my advisor. I said, look, I don't know if I want to go into communication, the field of communication. I think I want to go in education. And it was like, well, if you change your major, you're going to be going to school for another X amount of years. So I said, well, get me into the ballpark. So I minored in sociology. That put me in the realm of education. And I graduated with that, got my first job at an alternative school, and I got to put my education to work. So it didn't go down. My experience, let me just say my experience, it wasn't wasted because I was able to bring those things into my profession by sharing my story, right? Because some students wanted to go into the field of carpentry or a trade. You understand? Yeah. Someone wanted to go into the field of communication. And so I was able to bring those experiences in while I'm learning this new profession, which was education. And students were able to connect with that. They was able to connect. So in a sense, it was kind of like trial and error. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's okay.
Yeah.
The problem is, see, I said trial and error. Mm-hmm. The problem is when we sit, we just have error.
Come on, man. You don't make it happen when you're sitting around. I love that. You just got error if you're just sitting around.
We're talking about igniting the flame. How you ignite the flame? You gotta rub some things together.
You need some friction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's real good. And I'm glad you shared that too, because some people, they get discouraged because whatever didn't work the first time, they feel like they failed. So they don't try anything else. You told me, you said, man, listen, I tried carpentry and that wasn't for me. I remember my dad tried to put my hands as a mechanic. Definitely one for you, boy. Right. Then you said I tried broadcasting. I tried something else I loved. I tried something else that I thought I would like. And of course it was okay, but that wasn't it. And I think it's that place of really fine-tuning, doing the work, like you say, stirring up, igniting some things in your life, exciting and motivating yourself to really find what it is that you need to do. And to the place and point, you said, you know what, let me get clear on what it is I truly enjoy doing. I think that's the tough question that men must ask themselves. What do I really enjoy doing? And you lead me into this next question, man. And that is, what are some common challenges that you think men may be facing on their journey to finding fulfillment for themselves?
Instant gratification.
Oh, that's good.
Instant gratification. Because think about it, if you're making excellent money, I'm saying excellent money because it's something that's deterring you from going in the direction that you should be growing in. So you're making excellent money. You're not going to, while you want to, here goes a story. I walked into a classroom one day, it was in the art room, and the art teacher, she introduced me to a gentleman, and she was like, he's a lawyer for X law firm, whatever. And I was like, oh, wow. He's like, yeah, and he wants to be an art teacher. I said, well, that's two different hemisphere. You have art and you got law. And he was like, I did law because my parents wanted me to do law. Mm-hmm. And while I'm good at law, he said, I really enjoy art. So it takes guts to be able to say, to put the money aside, that instant gratification aside, and say, I'm going to go where I believe I belong.
Yeah.
Right. And me working with young people who are into the streets, and they ask, why, why they just don't go get a job? Reason, they want to get a job, but when you are in an arena where you are like a blue chip, you are held at you held to in high regards, on the street. It's almost like you are the if in sports you have, all pro,
Okay.
all-star, superstar, they're a superstar in the streets, but then you're saying, go get a job, and they become an amateur.
Yeah.
They become an amateur because that's an area where they don't know much about.
Yeah.
Right? They are inexperienced. No one taught them. So it's hard for them to make that transition, even though they're doing something wrong, but because they're getting that gratification from the girls. So speaking from a gentleman perspective, the girls honor them and think highly of them, want to spend time with them, their homies, hold them in high regards, got much respect for them because one, they're doing the same thing, but two, they have money, at least they believe it's money. So all these, they're getting the respect that I think that we all want as men. In that arena, they're getting that respect. So to be able to say, no, get out, leave that arena and come over to this arena, this side of the track. All right, it may be best for me to be on that side of the track, but I'm giving up all this gratification. That's tough.
I want to tap into daddyhood, man. Talk to me a little more about what you're doing with daddyhood. What's the impact that you're making there?
So daddyhood, you see the shirt, right?
Yeah.
So not only am I about becoming a walking conversation and advocating for daddyhood, but what I'm doing is I'm capturing daddyhood in action. So I was just on 4th of July. Me and my family was out looking at the fireworks, and there was a gentleman, he was there playing with his kids, and his kids so excited about the moment, and it started to rain, and he's holding his kids, and I'm like, that's a beautiful Kodak moment that I need to capture. That's what I'm doing. Like while I'm out in the community, I'm out and about, and if I see somebody demonstrating what daddyhood looks like, I'm taking a picture of it, post it, broadcasting it on social media. So that's one part of it. The other part is I'm interviewing dads. So some of these people I'm capturing, I'm turning around and I'm beginning to do interviews and have them share their story about daddyhood. And see, and this is where the bulk of the work is coming from, because women tend to have in-depth conversations about them being a mom, a wife, a professional, just life. Where guys, when we get around each other, sports, politics, money, my job, my status.
Superficial stuff. Yeah.
Right. And that's on surface stuff. But the women are outliving us.
Come on. I like
right.
that.
So it's very, the conversation that they're having is very therapeutic. My wife is a hairstylist. So sometimes, in passing, I'm eavesdropping or just me and her dialoguing about how they operate. And I'm like, it's totally different than how we operate. And well, it's going to be different. However, there is more has more substance. Theirs is more beneficial, where ours is, again, it's on the fly, it's on its surface, it's not getting deep, where many of us are hurting. And so I'm in these interviews, I'm talking with these dads about real stuff. Who motivated you to become a dad? So where your motivation to become a dad is. So what did daddyhood mean to you? What are the benefits of being a dad?
I'm curious to know, what was the response to what motivated you to be a dad? Because, and I'm asking this from a question, most men, it's not like we plan to be fathers. We get that late notice, by the way. I'm late, and you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden we daddies, So
Yeah.
where did that motivation come from?
It's
Like, what was the response?
It's funny you say that, because my wife, she came to me, she was like, when she dropped the news on me. And you know how, like, on the movies, like, they'll show like a person's life flash right before their eyes, and they see their whole, like, childhood. They just see everything. In that 30 seconds of at 30 seconds, they get their whole, they see their whole life. That's how it was for me. So while she's talking to me, I'm watching my whole life flash right before my eyes, like, wow, things is about to change
Yeah.
drastically. And but this is the thing. No, we don't plan to become fathers,
Right.
right? That news come to us unexpectedly.
Mm-hmm.
But from there, we decide if we want to be a dad,
Oh, come on. That's good.
right? And see,
Yeah.
again, dad and father is two different things. So as growing up, I can count on one hand how many times I saw my father.
Mm.
There were different moments where I thought that we were going to have that breakthrough and I was going to see him often and I was going to be like everybody else around me with a dad. That didn't happen. So as an adult, when I encountered him, and this is going to be in the book that I'm in the midst of writing now, but when I encountered him, I let him have it. Without cursing at him, I let him have it. And that was a pivotal moment of our relationship. Because he allowed me to get all that out with no interruption, that started us to form some type of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
He never became a dad, never called him dad in my life,
Mm-hmm.
never did. In fact, people say, well, what did you call him? I said, I called him nothing. I directly spoke to him. I never used him in third person.
Yeah.
I just spoke to him directly.
Wow.
And that's because of the relationship we had. Like, it was forming, and he didn't transition. So that's why I'm speaking in past. We were forming a relationship, but we never truly got there where I could even call him dad.
Wow.
Or my children call him grandpa. But we were at peace with one another. I didn't hold any grudges. He apologized to me every time we talk. He, in some form of fashion, he will apologize.
Yeah.
And so I think that there are, when it comes to motivation, I think there are a lot of men out there who are fathers and that are not dads. They want to be a dad.
Mm.
They just don't know how to get over that barrier, get past that barrier. And that barrier can be various different things, right? But
Yeah.
I would say one of those barriers,
There you go. Talk to me.
will be all day. One of those barriers is pride.
Okay. Yeah. Ego, pride. Yeah.
And
But
so
is there a difference between ego and pride?
I would say they're very close relatives,
Yeah.
and
Tell me
one
how.
leads to the other.
Yeah. I know you, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it made me think of ego. So tell me more about pride. How's that is in the way for men?
So pride would it's almost like you are, because you don't want to check your ego and say, hey, stand down. Stand down. It's like, it's failure to check your ego. Like, stand down, ego, because I'm wrong. The pride will say, no, keep it going. Like, you keep it, you are where you are. You stand, you stay where you are. You don't have to bow down. You don't have to say I'm sorry. You don't have to give in. So they kind of like work hand in hand. And I think I watched it was a documentary called The House I Live In. And it was a gentleman, he'd been incarcerated, and now his child he had just got sentenced. And he was like, they asked him like, well, why didn't you step in? Like, why didn't you tell me? And he broke down and cried. And he was like, I really wanted to. But I just couldn't. And he's like bawling in tears. You watching this grown man bawling in tears. And I say grown man because typically men, men don't cry, but men do cry.
Absolutely, they do.
But it's very rare that you see a man crying the way he was crying.
Yeah.
And so it spoke to me like, the fathers out there, they want to be dads, but something is holding them back.
Would you say that's a lack of emotional intelligence? Not just, and I don't mean, and what I mean by that is they're not taking in consideration the other person, or better yet, just don't have the self-awareness for themselves, what it looked like to be the dad, let alone um, n- not just knowing what a father figure may look like or a daddy figure may look like, but not sure how to even make the connection with the children, so to speak.
Right, absolutely, especially when you've been disconnected for so long.
Yeah.
Right. The longer you're disconnected, the harder it is.
Mhm.
And so there has to be a leap of faith and just put yourself and put yourself out there so you can get past that initial that wall, that initial anxiety that's forcing you not to make that connection.
And this could be very well that space you were talking about, that lane for men to becoming the best version of themselves. That might just be the area in their life where they have to get better, remove that pride, develop the self-awareness and intelligence to make the connection that they need to make so they can become the best version of themselves and improve their daddyhood, man.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and I make this disclaimer on my when I do have my interviews, I'm not the perfect dad.
absolutely.
I make mistakes every day. But the more I'm aware of my mistakes and I take what my accountability partner has to say, my wife, what she has to say, take that into consideration. Right.
That's a big piece. I can't even let I can't even let you just browse over there like you didn't say anything. That's the piece right there. Because how many men really listen? Their wife say, "Well, listen, you could have, you was a little harsh." We get defensive versus being open to what your accountability partner has to say. I love that term too. For yes, so you call your wife. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And she point out, she'd say, because I have daughters, and she say, yeah, you didn't grow up with women. I mean, with sisters. She's like, but I am one. Like, so what I'm telling you and what I expected from my father, this is how our daughters are looking at you.
Yeah.
So my antenna is like, boom, they up. Like, all right, I'm listening. And sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow.
Absolutely, it is.
Sometimes it's tough, especially when I know that I did something wrong and I could have done it better.
Yeah.
It's a tough pill to swallow. And so, and it may cause me to, depending on what it is, to humble myself and go back and say, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it. That's the real beauty of it. I mean, and I believe, and I can say that I think we as men all been there. I know I have. And had to be held accountable by my accountability partner. I'm talking about my wife to say, I don't think you handled that right. And I can be as clear and transparent as this might have just happened with me just yesterday, you know, to the place and point. Baby girl wanted to go hang out with her friends, and I was adamant, no, you can't go do it. Few hours later, I come to find out that the whole reason she really wanted they wanted to hang out was the friend would be leaving soon, and I felt so bad because um I maybe I just didn't use enough. I didn't really consider what was actually going on. I just was adamant about my no, you know. And it was a place where I had to go back and had that hard conversation with my daughter and say, man, I apologize. I screwed that one up, and can you forgive me? And so, no, that's good. This has been phenomenal. I mean, I can go on for another hour or two myself personally, but I do have some fun questions I want to be able to ask you, my
So I'm
friend.
gonna do like me and my wife will do. Surprise me.
I love it. Okay. Surprise you. Well, I like this. Let's see here. You did surprise me. You throw the curveball at me. I should have been prepared. So, can you share a meaningful spiritual or faith-based experience that helps shape your perspective?
Wow. So I was in college. So let me just say I grew up in a liberal family. While my mom, she would have us go to Sunday school, she didn't press it and make us go, right? Because me and my brother, we we resisted. We were like, we were hot under the covers, like, please don't ask us to go to Sunday school. Please don't ask, right? And so eventually she stopped pushing us. So when I got to college, I was with some friends. We were on a road trip, and somehow church came up, or God came up, and I was criticizing Christianity. And I said, how do you know that's true? And so on. And so he said, look, man, only thing I can tell you is to pray and ask God to reveal himself to you. He said, if you decide to read the Bible, he said, pray before you read the Bible. And I tell him to this day, I said, Kenny, that's the best advice you could have gave me. Because if you'd have tried to convince me, I would have fought. I would not have been open-minded and to seek a relationship with God. And from then on, I started to put those things into practice. And that opened up the door for me to have a relationship with God. I didn't get my revelation right away, but eventually I did. And that's why I am who I am to this day and serving in my church as a team leader.
No, that's phenomenal. That's real good, man. Thank you for sharing that one. And my final question here, fun question, and that is, um, if you could have a day dedicated to entirely fun, nothing but fun, what would you do? Who would you do it with, and why?
So I'm a family man. So I'll do it with my family. Right. As I just really truly appreciate family. And for fun, I'm a kid at heart. Disney World. Disney. Yeah. I'm a kid look, Disney World.
And now you tickled
Or
my spirit when you said that Disney, because
or
I'm, yeah.
yeah. Disney World or anything that has to do with superheroes.
Okay. Who's your favorite superhero?
Batman.
Okay.
So like we went to 3 weeks ago, we went to Greater Ventures
Mhm.
here well, not here in Philly, but in New Jersey, we went to Greater Ventures. And I don't know how the Greater Ventures are in other states, because there's more than one. But here in New Jersey, it's based off of DC Comics.
Okay.
So the Flash, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, they all got, everything is, even the villains, the Joker and all that. And being able to go to a theme park like that with this themed on superheroes, man, you got me.
That was right down your lane, huh?
Oh man, yeah, yeah. And it's funny because in my head, I'm picturing myself actually being the superhero. Yeah, so.
Now you made me ask another question. If you could be any superhero, who would it be?
Oh man, that's a good one. In fact, I never thought about that. Well, I never thought about one, but one, probably, all right, so it depends. If you're talking about with superpowers, if superpowers, I'd probably say, I mean, can't go wrong with Superman, right?
You can't.
Superpowers. But if you're talking about a human being a vigilante, oh man, Batman or Iron Man,
All right.
right? They both highly intelligent. Maybe probably Batman because he's more investigative. He's a detective.
Yeah.
Rich.
I love it, man. Listen, Syeed, this has been phenomenal, man. I really enjoyed myself. A great connecting with you. I love the work that you're doing, my friend. I want to encourage you, don't stop. Uh, keep going, man. In any way that I can serve you, man, please let's connect and let's grow together. Before we close this thing out, Syeed, tell the people where they can find you. Share a little bit more about your organization, Love of Wisdom, F.L.O.W, and how people may be able to find you or follow you.
Okay. So for Love of Wisdom, we're all about inspiring, motivating, and encouraging difference makers to move in the direction of wisdom, to become to maximize who they are, right? To maximize their potential. We could be found on Instagram for Love of Wisdom on Instagram. The website is www.forloveofwisdom.com. And you actually will see some clips of me speaking with different companies and organizations. Also, you will see our merch. We have merch that back up our message. So merch that backs up daddyhood. We even honor moms as well. So we don't leave moms out because they are important. We have a collection that's deal with the royalty mindset. So thinking in royalty. We have a collection dealing with seeking wisdom. So quotes from influential people that we have put on it. So we're all about becoming a walking conversation, or saying what you wear, right? Or you wear what you say. So we're all about moving people in the direction of wisdom so we could learn and grow together.
That's real good. All right.
Yeah.
So my final question, man, I'm gonna have you close us out with this. What's one piece of advice, life lesson that you would share with men to help them move along this, make the needed shift in their life towards success, a successful outcome?
I would say I'm gonna just go right with the with what my company stand for. Seek wisdom. Seek understanding. Though it's gonna cost you everything, get understanding.
That's
Just
good.
because you believe you have the knowledge, it doesn't mean anything if you don't know how to apply it. And sometimes you have to, not sometimes, you have to get the manual so you can carry out whatever that knowledge is and apply it correctly, right? That's the key, apply it correctly, you know, not just because you have the knowledge and you just go and do it. No, but let's learn how to do it correctly. And that comes with wisdom.
That's real good. For the love of wisdom, applied knowledge is key. I love that. That's real good. Man, I want to say thank you for taking time, brother, out your busy day and connecting. As always, guys, never miss an opportunity to grow yourself. This is the Leaders S.H.I.F.T podcast. I'm your boy, Dwayne Roberts. Go ahead, like the page, share the feed, tag a friend, and let them know that the Leaders S.H.I.F.T is live. I want to say have a phenomenal day with purpose. God bless.